Welcome back, students. Welcome to biology classes. Today we are going to see 10 science biology and we are going to resume the chapter 9, that is have already covered the heredity part, and in the evolution part we have already seen about the basic introduction. We have seen the illustration which is explained, also seen about the difference between the inherited trait as well as the acquired. So the features, that is two types of features are being seen. The first is the appearance and the second is the behavior, right? So based upon these two features it forms a characteristic, and with the basic characteristics they are being shared by the large number of organisms. Characteristics are being shared in between the larger number of organisms. The this species or the two species common ancestors, right? Because they are closely related, and if they are more closely related then they are said to be to have the common ancestors, as they are having the characteristics which are common in between them. To see about the evolutionary relationships which can be traced by the following terms. The first is the homologous organs. So, the homologous organs are those organs which have the basic structural design and developmental origin but perform different functions and appearance. Those type of organs are called as homologous organs. That means the organs which have the same basic structural design, that is the body structural organization, as well as from whichever origin it is been developed, this all or this both of them are same, but the functions which they perform are different, and along with the functions even the appearance is also different. Then those type of organs are called homologous organs. Example of it is the forelimbs of frog, bird, bat and human being. They have same design of bones but they perform different functions. So this is the figure which shows the homologous organs, that they do possess the same basic structure as well as the developmental origin, but they perform different functions as well as the appearance is also different. Next is the second type, that is the analogous organs, and these organs have the basic structural design and the developmental origin same, that is different, and they do possess the same type of functions as well as they have the same type of appearance. So this is just opposite of the homologous organs, that is they have different basic design as well as the developmental origin, but they perform similar type of functions, and also their appearance is also same. Example of can be seen as the wings of bat and bird. You can see over here the bird and the wing of the bat. These two of them, they are being modified in such a way that they perform the same function as well as the appearance is also same, but the basic design as well as the developmental origin, these two of them are different. Next is the study of fossils. Now the fossils are preserved remains of living organisms that lived in the past. So in past, uh, whichever fossils are being preserved, right, that is the whatever remaining or the remains of the living organisms are there, those all the things are said to be the fossils. Now when the living organisms die, their bodies decompose. So when a particular organism, if it is dying, then the process of decomposition takes place, but some of the parts of their body may be in such an environment that they do not decompose. So not the whole body part is being degraded or decomposed, but few of the parts of their body are not decomposed. For example, if a dead insect gets caught into hot mud, it will not decompose quickly, but the mud will harden and retain impressions of body parts of the insects. And this way, whichever impressions are being formed, this all impressions are called fossils. Now, the age of the fossil, that is whether it is a closer one or it is a that means whether it is a recent fossil or a very ancient fossil. If you want to check that, then there are two ways. The first way is to check whether the fossil that has occurred is closer to the earth's surface or more recent to those found in deeper layers. So if the fossil is found in the deeper areas of the earth, then it is said to be that it is one of the most ancient fossil. And if you are getting the fossil in the recent layers of the earth, right, then those type is said to be the nearest ones, that is the recent ones. The second method is the isotope dating, that is you are detecting the ratio of different isotopes of the same element in the fossil material. That is, with the help of the isotope, you are using or you are detecting the amount of the different types of isotopes of the exactly same element which is present in the fossil material. So this is about the study of fossils, and these are several pictures of fossils which was initially found by different people. Now, what is the significance of fossils? So fossils are formed layer by layer in the earth's crust. So these fossils they are forming itself in the earth's crust layer by layer. So some the ancient fossils, they are found in the deeper soils or deeper layer of soil or earth, and few are found in the upper layers. The animals and plants which existed are buried in the deeper layers which once found in the upper layer. So the animals and plants, right, which were existing in the like in the previous age, right, then those are buried in deeper layers which once found in the upper layer. So once the changing of the environment and all takes place, after that the this foundings or the fossils of this animals as well as plants is seen, right. Complete fossil record of every of animals like horse, camel and man has helped us to study the stages of evolution, right. So for studying the stages of evolution, right, there is a complete fossil record of animals, just like for example camel, horse as well as man. And due to this complete records of the fossils, we are able to study the different stages of the evolution. So the evolution by stages, that is, now we are going to see that how the which are the stages of evolution, that how the evolution is taking place. So evolution is a continuous and gradual process. Complicated organs did not evolve by a single DNA change, but were formed by bit change over generation. When we are talking about the evolution, so it is a continuous process as well as it is a gradual process, that is it takes a longer time to occur. Also the complicated organs, they do not evolve by the single DNA. So just DNA is not only responsible for evolving or making the organs complicated, but they also were formed by bit change over generation. So there were some changes which were carried out in the generation which leaded to the evolution. For example, complex organs like eyes were created by bit changes in between the rudimentary eye in some insects, also provided a fitness advantage. So to understand the stages of evolution, here an example of complex organ like eye is given, that complex eyes, or we can say eyes, were created by several changes which were taken place in between the rudimentary eye in several insects, and this was able to explain about the fitness advantage. The structure of eye in all organisms is different enough to have evolutionary origins, right? As you know that all the organisms possess the different structure of the eye, and this is a quite enough theory to explain that what like how the evolution has taken place. Some organs even develop for one particular function but later become useful for a quite different function. So initially when any of the organ is formed or developed, at that time it is performing another function, but afterwards when it becomes useful, after then the function of that particular organ changes. So it is going to perform any another different function. And the example of it can be explained as the feathers developed to provide warmth to the animal but later helped in flight. So none another, the feathers are used for providing the warmth to the animal, so it is also providing the warmth, and on the other side it is also helping in the flying mechanism. So as initially it was been present, or it was been developed for providing warmth, right? But afterwards, that is later, it was giving the help in doing the flight. Some dinosaurs had feathers, although they could not fly. This shows that birds are closely related to reptiles. Since dinosaurs were reptiles, some dissimilar looking structures also evolved from common ancestors. So here the explanation of dinosaurs is there, that dinosaurs too had the feathers, and but as they were having a heavier weight, for this reason they could not fly, and for this reason, as they were having the feathers, this shows that the birds were closely related to the reptiles, because the dinosaurs were coming under the reptiles. So there was some dissimilar looking structures which was evolved from the common ancestors. So this such as the feathers, right? So there were several structures which were same in between the different level of organizations, right? And that was the example is seen over here is of the feathers. Next, the current example of such a process is wild cabbage plant, from which different vegetables are generated by artificial selection rather than natural selection. Nowadays, with the help of the cabbage plant, different types of vegetables are being produced, and it is being carried out by a process which is known as artificial selection and not the natural selection, right? So you can this wild cabbage, this can have the ability. So the first one says that selection of short distance between the leaves has led to the formation of cabbage that we eat, right? The initial cabbage, right, which we eat on the daily basis, right? And comparatively the leaves of this plant is closer to each other, so it is the cabbage, right? Next is selection for arrested flower development had led to broccoli. So you can see here, this is the arrested flower development, that is the flower is not furthermore developing itself, and for this reason this wild cabbage is transforming itself to broccoli. The third is selection for sterile flowers had made cauliflower. So when the selection is being carried out for just the sterile flowers, then it is leading to the formation of the cauliflower. Next is the selection for swollen stem had formed kohlrabi. So you can see here kohlrabi is the one which is having the swollen parts. And the last is the selection for large leaves which had formed leafy. You can see over here the kale is having the larger leaves, and the last one is the selection for colored leaves formed red cabbage. So here you can see that the cabbage is going to form into a different type of color, which is red. So we can say that evolutionary relationships can be established by the study of homologous organs. So how you can how you can say that this type of relationship can be established by using several things, right? So this all things explains about the evolutionary relationships which are being observed in between the different types of organisms, right? So this can be established by the study of homologous organs, study of analogous organs, the study of fossils, as well as the changes which are taking out in the DNA during the reproduction part, right? So here this is all about the topic, that is the stage evolution by stages. And now we are going to see the evolution word. Evolution cannot be called progress from lower forms to higher forms, right? So here we cannot say that means the progress is being done, right? So evolution cannot be called as progress, right? Because it is basically forming more complex design, while the simpler one is also keep growing. So that if any changes occurred, then only the second or the new one which is formed, that only grows, right? Here whatever basic or whatever complex designs are formed, or whatever changes are being carried out in the primitive organisms, and whatever new organisms are formed, so the new organisms are going to lead to different species, and the old ones are also going to be grown up, right? Evolution is generation of diversity with the help of environmental selection. So what exactly evolution is? So evolution is generation of diversity, that is you are producing the diverse organism, and it is with the help of the environmental selection, that is based upon the environmental conditions you can diversify the different types of species of the organism. Bacteria which were formed first have the capacity to live in diverse condition and are still flourishing. So we can see over here the example of bacteria, that some bacteria have the capacity to live in diverse condition, that is whatever conditions you give them, in any of the unfavorable conditions they are resistible, right? So on the other hand, human beings, which are highly evolved species, cannot be called the pinnacle of evolution, but yet another species in the evolving life forms. So when we are talking about the human beings are said to be the most evolved species, because the highest amount of evolution has taken place in the humans. But still the human beings cannot be called as pinnacle of evolution, because another species is also been there in the evolving life forms, because there are several different types of life forms which are carrying out in the evolution, right? Last and the foremost part of this chapter is human evolution. So human evolution has been studied with the help of excavation, time dating, and fossil study. So excavation, that is in previous years or in the previous era, the people like in the Stone Age, they were living in the caves, right? So the human evolution has been studied by the help of the excavation and time dating, that is what was the time at which the evolution took place, as well as the fossil study, that what are exactly the fossils which were found and which are explaining the exact change which was observed in the humans. All human beings belong to single species, that is Homo sapiens, right? So the genus says that is the Homo is the genus and the species is the sapiens is the species, right? So Homo sapiens, that is the genus, and along with the genus we are the species. So for the human beings, the species is said to be the Homo sapiens. Human species have come from Africa, right? So none another but the evolution which has been carried out of humans, that is from the Africa. Some of our ancestors left Africa while others stayed on. So when we are talking about the human evolution, like the human species have come from the Africa part, and some of our ancestors, they left Africa, and while other stayed on. So few were living in the Africa only, and few left the Africa and went to India. This migrants slowly spread across the planet, that is the West Asia, Central Asia, Eurasia, South Asia, East Asia, right? So what happened is, once they came out from the Africa, right, they separated themselves to different areas of the Asia or the continent, right? And they traveled to Indonesia, Philippines, Australia and America. So also they went to Indonesia, also they went to Philippines, also to Australia as well as America. They traveled forward and back, sometimes separating and sometimes coming back to mix with each other. So sometimes what happened is, they traveled sometimes in the forward manner, but sometimes they were coming back too, right? And this way they were also getting separated, but sometimes due to the backward scenario, what happened, sometimes they were also coming back and mixing with each other. They had they had come into being as an accident of evolution, right? So none another, the human evolution, there are several tools of study of human evolution relationship, that is excavating, then time dating, then fossils, and determining the DNA sequences, right? So the human evolution is useful for the exact things which are carried out, right? So now we are talking about the genetic footprints of the humans, right? So the genetic footprints of the humans, right, in this, the hundreds or thousands of years ago, what happened, the earliest members were found in the Africa, right? And in the Africa, what happened, they were sent, the few of the people came out of the Africa and they were separated, they got separated to different part of the continent, and this way the what happened, the diversity of the human forms is seen. So although there is a great diversity of human forms all over the world, yet all humans are single species. So none another, all the humans are coming under the Homo sapiens, but still the diversity is observed according to the area as well as the environment of that region, right? So they didn't go in a single line, right? So no, they were not walking in a single line, but they got separated, right? They went forward and backward. So when few went if in the forward direction, few went in the backward direction, moved in and out of Africa. Some resident, like some of them were residing in Africa only, while some moved out of the Africa, and sometimes they were coming back to mix with each other also. So this is all about the human evolution, and here we complete this chapter. I hope you are very clear with today's topic, and I hope to see you again. Thank you.